If not, it'll be me. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about John chapter 4 lately, and since I've been reading it, I thought, hey, let's do a lesson on that. The idea is to give what is unexpected. There's a lot of unexpected things that happen in John chapter 4 because that's the woman at the well. I tried my best to find a picture that was not AI, and I showed Chris, and he's like, yeah, that's probably AI. I was like, oh. Anywho, but I saw that face, and I was like, hey, here's somebody that was rejected but needed Jesus. And I wanted to say thank you to Robin for his prayer, because he talked about help us not be bitter. And sometimes we see people that we're not used to being around with, and it's easy to be bitter. But Jesus was never bitter. Anyway, I believe that everybody here can reach people that nobody else can by following the example that Jesus gave the woman at the well. So question, how do you feel when somebody gives you something that you weren't expecting? How do you feel? Let's think about this. Let's say you're driving down the road and you cut somebody off. You cut somebody off, and then they pull up beside you. What are you expecting, right? Probably not a high five. Probably some words through the glass that you can't hear, but you can probably understand what they're saying. Maybe, the old one-finger salute type of thing. Who knows? But what if they just smiled and waved at you? Maybe they're like, hey, have a good day. Maybe, hey, I'm praying for you, drive safe. Who knows? How would that feel, though? It feels a little shocking, right? Does it feel unnatural? I mean, you really messed them up, you could have caused an accident or something. But they're being nice to you, they get it, hey. Do you feel a little undeserving? I want to think about that idea of things you didn't expect. We're going to stay in John 4 for the most part, but I want to talk about Jesus. See, I'm talking much slower so we can go faster, so we have more time. I want to look at Jesus as the master teacher. And I want to pull out a few things of what he's saying. We got to remind us. You guys know the story, but this is a reminding session here. We're going to look at stuff we've seen before. But Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30, is a very famous quote. It says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." A lot of people come to Christianity and they think, hey, if I just come to Jesus, everything's going to be all right. Everything will just fix itself because I came to Jesus. But there are three words I highlighted there. You see them? Learn from me. Yes, Jesus, he had the knowledge, he had the facts, but at this stage, we're looking at behavior. We're looking at attitude, the way that Jesus conducted himself. He's saying, hey, you follow me. Kind of like a craftsman at his craft, he has somebody watching him. I'm thinking as my father is teaching me how to change the oil in the car. It's, hey, watch me what I do. Watch as I'm doing this, and then you do what I do. That's what Jesus is saying here. He says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. He's got his disciples with him, and they're following him. They're waiting for their teacher, their rabbi, to do certain things, and they want to do what Jesus is doing. And they say, there's nobody that teaches like Jesus. All right. With that in mind, we're going to look at John 13, verse 12 through 17. It says, when he had washed their feet and put on his outer garments and resumed his place, he said to them, do you understand what I've done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you also should do just as I have done to you. He's not just washing their feet because their feet stink. He's washing their feet because he wants them to wash each other's feet. There's that servant attitude, that humility. It says, truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master. Who do you think you are thinking that you can follow me and not do what I'm telling you to do? No, you need to do what I'm telling you to do. The servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. And so keep that in mind. Blessed are you if you do these things. How do we become blessed? Blessed are you for doing these things. Jesus is still in teacher mode at this point. He's trying to mentor these disciples. He's saying, do what I'm doing. Another verse just like it, Luke 6:40, a disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. We are to be like our teacher. By the way, this is a side note. I think this is one of those cause and effect, one of those laws of nature type things that is true no matter what. A disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. I'm thinking about parents and my kids. Who's teaching my kids? You think about going to colleges or what they're watching or what they have in their hand all the time. What is teaching their kids? Because they're going to be just like their teacher. There's certain teachers out there I don't want my kids to be like. So that's why we got to be careful. I like what Psalm 1 says. Blessed is the one who meditates on the word day and night. That's what I want my kids, my students to be. Teacher of the Lord, teacher of God, or a student of God. Okay. All right, so let's go back to John 4. Before we do, ask yourself this question. Why are people not experiencing the love of Jesus outside the church walls? Why are they not experiencing it outside? I know inside we're good. I'm a little biased here. I love this church. I think the people here, the church here is amazing. But what about outside? Do we not see any prospects? Are we too busy to slow down? Our world is broken. Our world is sinful. Our world is helpless. And sometimes the only time people think they're even going to receive grace and mercy is when they're in this type of setting. And I want to challenge our thinking a bit on this. How do I view people when I walk outside this door? Am I still the church when I walk outside? Am I supposed to still follow Jesus' command when I walk outside these doors? I want you to think about that. So when we look at the lesson with the woman at the well, there's three things that I kind of focused on. Classic 3 points here. He met her where she was. He looked past her appearance. And he told her the truth without letting go. And we'll explain those in just a little bit. Excuse me. All right. Finally, John chapter 4. If you got your Bibles, you can read along or just look at the screen. It's fine. So he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar, near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, so Jesus, wearied as he was from his journey, was sitting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour, which is about noon in our time. So, sun is up, it's hot. A woman from Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." For his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" Now notice what John, the Holy Spirit, decided to put in the text here. It says, "For the Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." We can go on a long thing about the Samaritans. A lot of you know it already. There's tension there. But the writer here wants you to know that tension is still here. The Jews had no dealings with Samaritans. Verse 10, Jesus answered her, "Oh, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." Let me ask you a question. What did she expect from Jesus? She didn't know who he was. What did she expect from him? What do you think? Probably disgrace. Maybe, "Hey, you're less than, what are you doing here?" Scorn, rebuke, hatred, maybe a little bit of an attitude. What is your people doing here? That's probably what she was expecting. Why is this leader, why is this male? Why is this guy here? I don't know. She might be a little uncomfortable. She might be on guard. Maybe she's kind of ramped up and ready for a little bit of attitude because she's on guard because I don't know who I'm talking to. But look at what Jesus actually did. Jesus met the Samaritan woman where she was at the moment she was at. Now, I keep thinking, what's the word here? I had to think a little bit. How diabolical would it have been if Jesus had said something like, hey, I need you to meet me at 1 o'clock at the synagogue. Or, if you're going to have a conversation, meet me over there. Or what if he said something which is impossible here, but just the attitude, you need to get rid of your heritage of being a Samaritan so this isn't an awkward situation for us. Or you need to get rid of your past and tie up any loose ends, and then you can come talk to me. That would have been crazy, right? But I think a lot of people they would think that. Especially in today's, or back then with the way the Jews did not like the Samaritans. She probably had that thinking like, what is he going to say? And it makes me wonder. We have a lot of teachers here. Some of you have been teachers in the past. And teachers see every kind of child. Some in good homes, broken homes, everything in between. And if a teacher says, hey, you have to meet my standard or I'll forfeit my care, a teacher who says that, you've already abandoned most of them, right? Nobody in a broken situation has ever been helped by being judged immediately. Let me say it again. Nobody in a broken situation has ever been helped by being judged immediately. I'm not saying don't judge. Matthew 7 talks about judging. But just walking up to somebody and the first thing you do is you judge somebody. I don't think anyone's ever been helped that way. Maybe there's some nuance there, but I can't see it. I think you know what I'm saying. Jesus never asked her, hey, did you fix this relationship? Did you do this right? Did you change this about your life? No. He says, I want to have a conversation with you. I'm going to meet you here right where you're at. And that's okay. I know your life is all messed up. That's okay. And that's how we need to talk with people. Who's got problems? We all do. Our lives are messed up. That's okay. That's fine. Let's talk about it. We say the church is a spiritual hospital, but the church isn't a building. We know that. We've said that 1,000 times. The church isn't a building on Osage Avenue. You are the hospital. When somebody broken walks in, they aren't walking into a room. They're walking into you, right? One thing I really like about this church is that we are very accepting. Jesus had dinner with the tax collectors and the prostitutes and the other sinners and stuff, and so should we. Do as I do. He set an example. And it may be the last thing they expect. Like, what do you guys, you're being nice to me, you're being inviting to me. And our job is to be that spiritual hospital that we are. Think about this. How silly it would be. You go into a hospital, you have a broken arm or severe heart disease, and, nobody tells you to leave. Nobody says, hey, you're a hypocrite. This hospital is supposed to be a place where healthy people are. What do you guys, why are you sick? That would sound ridiculous, right? What they're doing, and hopefully the people working there, what they're there for is to point you to the doctor or to make you comfortable until the doctor comes or to triage or whatever so we can get everything just right so we can get you to the right doctor. Well, same here, right? The same with the church. If you have anger issues or drug addiction or family or marital problems, come on in. You're in the right place. It's okay. We'll talk about it, yes, but it's okay. And that's the spirit we need to give people. I don't care. You're not going to intimidate me. I've been around drug addicts and people who have abused other people and just from all walks of life, and that's fine. That's okay. You're in the hospital. We're broken. Broken people have broken perceptions and broken ways of thinking and broken logic. That's okay. They're broken. They're in the hospital. I wouldn't get mad at somebody who's got a broken arm at a hospital. Why would I get mad at you with a broken life? I'm here to just point you to Jesus, right? And that's what we're supposed to do. So do you know anyone that has problems? There used to be an old commercial for Purple mattresses, the company that makes the mattress purple. And they would say something like, if you or anyone you know who sleeps, who needs a comfortable night's sleep, sign up for Purple. You or anyone you know you or anyone you know who has problems, hey, just wonderful. You're a great candidate. So let's go. Can you fog a mirror? Then come on, let's go. I need you to see Jesus. That's needs to be our attitude. So we do what we can to point you to Jesus. He is the great physician after all. All right, number 2, he looked past her appearance. And when I'm talking about appearance, I'm not necessarily thinking visual. When somebody says your name, what do they think of? Think about your identity. If you were to think, when someone says my name, okay, they're not thinking about, they're thinking about my reputation, or, it's that guy that's speaking tonight, or whatever. He looked past her appearance. We need to look past people's appearance. We don't know this woman's name. However, we do know she's a Samaritan. She had 5 husbands, and the guy she's living with isn't even her husband. And like I said, there's a lot of history here. I'm not going to go dive deep into that. But the point is, this was an awkward situation. Very unexpected for a Jewish rabbi to talk to this woman, and Jesus is breaking all the rules, right? You can do the same. You're allowed to break all the rules, not legal rules or whatever, but all the cultural norms and stuff like that. No, walk right past those. Those aren't for us. We can walk and talk to people. We can reach out a hand straight through those cultural barriers and say, hey, let me show you the church. Let me show you Jesus. I got some really cool people here I want you to meet. We're allowed to do that. And I urge you to do that. All right, let's keep going. Let's jump over to John 4, verse 25. Because there's something in here that it wasn't until I was putting this together this week that the first time I really noticed it. Verse 25 says, the woman said to him, I know that Messiah is coming, he who is called Christ. When he comes, he will tell us all things. Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. Just then the disciples came back. They marveled that he was talking with the woman, but no one said, what do you seek? Or why are you talking to her? So the woman left her water jar and went away into town and said to the people, come, see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be the Christ? They went out of the town and were coming to him. Okay, so what did I notice from this group of verses this is the first time I really paid attention to it, and I didn't notice it the first time. Why did the Holy Spirit say these words? Verse 27, halfway through, they marveled that he was talking. Just then his disciples came back. They marveled that he was talking with a woman. But no one said, what do you seek? Or why are you talking to her? The disciples didn't say, what are you doing here? Or Jesus, why are you talking to her? They didn't say that. For some reason, the Holy Spirit thought it was very important to say something that the disciples didn't say. Isn't that interesting? The disciples kept their mouths shut. They didn't judge her either. And I think that's what they're putting in there. I think that's pretty interesting because I put the word then. I added a word, but I made it just for emphasis here because logically it creates it's in the timeline here. No one said, hey, what are you doing here, or why are you talking to her? So that's when the woman left her water jar and went away into town and said to the people, hey, come and see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be the Christ? And they went out of the town and were coming to him. It was almost as if Jesus was there and he wasn't judging, he was helping. And then when his disciples came, they didn't judge her either. Wow, this guy must be the real deal. This must be the real place to be. And it makes me think of the church, right? You may have the preacher. I think Chris is wonderful, but you can have, just go with me here. If you have a lesson or a preacher, people, they preach the love of Jesus. But then the people in the pews aren't acting very Jesus-like, a lot of people will leave. Anyway, I've had situations, maybe you have too, and I've probably been the person where somebody is new and I'm trying to talk to them and I'm having a conversation with them and I think it's going great, and somebody else is coming up to me and they're saying something ridiculous, or they don't realize that I'm trying to talk to somebody, I'm trying to lead them to Christ or to the next step, or get them to a Bible study, and somebody else is like, hey man, are we going to go, what are we doing for lunch? Or, oh, okay, well, I'll wait till you're done, and then we're ready for lunch. Just things that I'm like, can you just be quiet? I think I've got, and then as I'm trying to deal with this person, that person goes, okay, well, good to see you. And I'm like, oh, I lost my, and I'm sure that I've been that person as well. But I think of the disciples here. Nobody said anything. Nobody was judging. And I think that's big. I think she's saying, wow, they aren't judging me. These people aren't here to shame me either. They're the real deal. I'm going to ask you, are you the real deal? Because the problem is, and I'm going to read a bit, I got a bit from a book called Unoffendable. We have intentions. We typically judge people by their actions, and we judge ourselves by our intentions, right? I was going to send her that letter. I was going to mail that person this. I cut that person off, but it was totally an accident, or I'm in a hurry. But that other person, oh, they're just an idiot. I can't believe. You don't know their intentions. Anyway, I've got a little section from a book called Unoffendable, and I really like it. I want to read it here because I've got time. Anyway, it says, no one likes to hear this. We want to think people are worse than us. It's one of our favorite pastimes. Don't believe me? An experiment. Go to a mall food court, grab a chicken kebab or something, sit down and listen to the conversations around you. Compare how often people are telling stories about hurtful, wrong things other people did versus confessing hurtful, wrong things they themselves have done. We're brilliant at this. Geniuses, really. Would that the Nobel Committee had a prize for this. Happens in traffic all the time. The other day, I was leaving our gym's parking lot, waiting in my car to turn left, sitting toward the middle of the exit, and some guy pulled in quickly and almost hit me. My mental response, geez, that guy's an idiot. And then this very morning, I was the one entering the lot, and some guy was sitting there waiting in the exact same place I'd been, and I thought, geez, that guy's an idiot. Geez, that guy's an idiot. I've done the exact same thing he was doing, but that guy's an idiot. And the other guy who did exactly what I was doing, yeah, that guy's an idiot too. That guy is always wrong because he's always that guy. And I'm always this guy. In other words, everyone's an idiot but me. I'm awesome. Go me. Moral of the story, the other guy is always a jerk. Many times in my life, I've vocalized in traffic something like, man, what a jerk. I can't remember ever, not once, saying, man, I'm a jerk. Why? Because I'm a victim. My intentions are pure. Other people are the perps. I'm never a perp. It's as natural as breathing, but that doesn't make it right. It's as universal as eating, but that doesn't make it right either, because whatever they did, we're just as guilty. Whatever they did, we're just as guilty. If anybody wants to borrow that book, go ahead. Here's the thing. It doesn't come natural to look past people's appearances. It doesn't come natural. Think about emergency services, first responders, military. You must go against your natural instinct. We don't naturally run into a burning building. We don't naturally run towards gunfire. You have to be trained to do those things. We don't naturally go talk to somebody who is hurting. We don't naturally talk to somebody who's just awkward, or we don't naturally do that. And parents, me included, we have to teach our kids this. It's not natural to look past appearances. We have to train that muscle. We have to practice doing the unexpected. Train out of the instinct and train into seeing somebody's ability, somebody's potential, or just seeing them as God's precious son or daughter, because if you don't train it, it's just not going to happen. Okay, number 3. He told her the truth without letting go. John 4:16 through 18. I'm going back a little bit so we can see this part. Jesus said to her, "Go call your husband and come here." The woman answered him, "I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying I have no husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." So here's the thing. He tells her the truth, and he does not leave. And we'll get to this does not leave in just a second. He's not berating her about her sin. He's not saying, "How dare you have 5 husbands and then go and live with another one?" I mean, Jesus already knew it before he came to her, so I mean, he's not saying those things. How dare you have this reputation? He just says, "Hey, listen, you messed up, but I love you and I want you to fix this, and I'm going to be with you. I'm going to walk with you." That needs to be our attitude. Stick with me for a minute. We'll get to that. Him staying there for a little bit. Because I said this already. Remember, broken people have broken perceptions, broken logic, broken reasoning, broken all over. We can't expect people to just be in our perfect little cookie cutter way of meeting them where, oh, now I can talk to you. Or now, no, they're broken. It's okay. Somebody says, "Well, I just tell people like it is, and I don't like this person. I'm not going to talk to them." Or no, wait a minute. I wouldn't say, I guess with the hospital thing, I'm not going to get upset if somebody's broken physically. I remember working in IT, and I was part of the IT support staff in many different positions, and we'd have other people in the position, and people would get so upset when one of our employees, like their computer messed up, or a program messed up, or stopped working. And the other IT people would be like, "Oh, they're such an idiot. Do they not know to reboot or do this or do that or whatever?" And I'm thinking, dude, that's our job. Don't you I come here expecting those things to happen, and it doesn't bother me. If somebody's computer's not working, they're probably having a rough day. You know what? I'm gonna be their hero for a little bit, and I'm gonna go help them. Versus the others that are like, "I can't believe this is happening." Wake up, we're in a fallen world. This is happening. It's okay. Colossians 4:5 through 7. Walk in wisdom towards outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. Like I said, somebody may come in, "Well, I'm just going to tell them like it is. They need to know that, they shouldn't do such and such." I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. But let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer each person. Jesus knew that her life was messed up, but his grace, or his speech was gracious. It was seasoned with salt. There's a time and place for all those things. Just be gracious with people. It's okay. You have to meet people where they are first. Encourage them, then love them so much you won't let them stay where they are. And notice what it cost them. She's at the well at 12 in the daytime. It's got to be hot. Why is she out there then? There's a lot of reputation there, probably. Nobody wants to be around her. She's been kicked out of the socially accepted class that goes to get water in the morning or at night. So she's out in the middle of the day, and this is Southern talk here. She's busting her tail to get water. And Jesus takes the time. And my urging to you is learn from me, Jesus says. Learn from me. See how I'm talking to this lady? I know it's unexpected. Learn from me. As you read and watch Jesus, as you're reading through the scriptures, I want you to think, oh, he's saying learn from, oh, I see. How he's talking to that one person. Oh, how he's treating that one person. Oh, I need to do just like Jesus is doing. See what I'm doing, Jesus is saying? Do that too. All right, think about Think about who did this for you. Maybe some of the people who have left a lasting impact on your life never bought you anything, never gave you anything, never not yelled at you. Why is that? Because they called you out when you needed to be called out. They held you to the standard when you wobbled one way or the other. They called you back to that standard. And maybe there's people that'll hear this and they don't have a person in their life like this, and that's where we are to be called to be that person for them. Maybe a lot of you are picturing somebody right now, somebody who loved you enough to first listen and then not reject you. Maybe reject the behavior, obviously, but not reject you. I'm going to say this over and over again. If you have a broken arm in the hospital, they don't just throw you away, they take you in. And that's exactly what Jesus did at the well. Let's keep reading. This is great. Go back to verse 39. Many Samaritans from that town believed in him because of the woman's testimony. He told me all that I ever did. So when the Samaritans came to him, they asked him to stay with them, and he stayed there 2 days. And many more believed because of his word. They said to the woman, "It's no longer because of what you said that we believe, for we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this indeed is the Savior of the world." Not one or two, but many more believed because of his word. They didn't believe because something miraculous happened to them. They didn't believe because their life got better. They believed because Jesus took time to pour into a woman who no one else even wanted to be around. Okay, verse 42. They said to the woman, "It's no longer because of what you said that we believe, for we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this is indeed the Savior of the world." I know I'm repeating that, but I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. It's like you got me to the feet of Jesus, but it's Jesus. Jesus is the one that kept me here. And that is our job. Get people to the feet of Jesus, and if they can just hold on, Jesus will keep them there. Our job is not to save people. Our job is to welcome them in the hospital. Make them comfortable as they wait to see the doctor. Because you're the nurse. You're the tech. You're not the doctor, but you're the triage person. You are the helper, right? Let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. That's Hebrews 10:24. That's our job. Now it's my turn. I want to stir you up to love and good works. When you go out this week, you'll meet people who simply don't see the world like you. And that's okay. Because like Jesus, you're going to meet them where they are. You're going to look past their appearance and gently tell them the truth. Point them to Jesus and stay with them. Walk them through it until they really grab a hold of Jesus. And then we'll have more of an army. That's kind of a big thing for me, is a lot of people will get somebody in, and then once they become a Christian or once they've been here for a little bit, they just kind of ignore them. One thing I like about this church, I don't think we do that. And if we do, by any means, come to me, and I'll try to make it right. But keep them. Keep them into the fold. Walk with them. If they're having trouble, that's okay. Well, that's kind of the thing. I unexpectedly that's okay. Just have that attitude. That's okay. I'm here to point you to Jesus. My favorite definition of hospitality, you may have heard me say this. Definition of hospitality: making someone on the outside feel like they're on the inside. Make somebody on the outside feel like they're on the inside. You know the inside, where all the inside jokes, and you know where all the things are. You know the stories. You know the context of lots of things. You see somebody who doesn't know, you can whisper, "Hey, that's this and that's that. Oh, somebody's here. By the way, if you need to use the restrooms are over there, and we've got the FLC over here. And on Wednesdays, we're going to have our Wednesday night suppers coming up. And oh, by the way, when Chris does this, he has this funny little thing that he does, and whatever. Somebody on the outside, make them feel like they're on the inside." So my question, as we go out, is there anything we can do to help you? Can we help you in any way? That's really all I've got, Chris. I tried to stretch it out. We've got 5 minutes. So anyway, thank you for listening to me. Hopefully it was encouraging somewhat. and do the unexpected to people. So come as we stand and sing. Oh, well, wait a second. You're going to...